Hi, it's Gerry, and welcome to day 74 of A Course in Miracles. Today's lesson was one that I really liked, actually. It really resonated with me. And it was that there is no will but God's. In other words, if we're really in touch with what makes us happy, what brings us peace, what brings us joy, that is also God's will for us. It reminds me of a quote from St. Augustine, which says, "Our heart is restless until it rests in you." That's just the truth of this statement, really. That's ultimately what it is. And for my practices today, I had to say, there is no will but God's. I cannot be in conflict. And as I meditated on that, I said such statements as, I am at peace. Nothing can disturb me. My will is God's. My will and God's are one. God wills peace for God's Son. And I thought of times when I've faced decisions, like career decisions, for example, and I followed this principle. What gives me the greatest peace? Now that can take a long time to figure out. So, for example, when I was working in the Congo, I absolutely loved my job. It was like the greatest job ever. I was working at a home for street children in Kinshasa, the capital, and it was a dream come true. It really was. It was, it was to me what making it to the top level of competition is to an athlete. It was the greatest. However, in that life, I was actually, I'll tell you, I was a Catholic brother at the time. I was Brother Gerry. And I knew in my heart that loving the work was not enough to remain in the Catholic religious life, which requires that you take vows of chastity, poverty, and obedience. And so, after long searching in my heart, I came to the realization that I'm not at peace with that. And I made the right decision because I'm married and I have a family. And having children is the most wonderful thing. It is such a beautiful blessing. It's the right thing. For me, having children is what I'm called to do. And it's God's will. It's God's will that I have children. And they are the greatest source of joy and peace and happiness, though they can be quite challenging. But just knowing that, I've done the right thing. It's God's will. And so that, I think, is the best example I can give of this. So the goal is to come to that place of peace in choosing direction in life and choosing what we are going to do. And if it brings you peace, then you know that it's God's will. So for the shorter meditations, I said, there is no will but God's. This was only if I felt conflict. Sorry. And this actually can be very helpful when you're going through the decision process, which I wasn't, so it was kind of hard for me to do. But if one is going through the decision process, if there's conflict, there is no will but God's. These conflict thoughts are meaningless. But you know what? I do relate to that because you get people giving you different advice in different situations. And not just this example, but other examples. People give advice and they just don't feel right. So you don't do them. You do what brings you peace. And there's several times I made decisions in my life where people thought, are you crazy? But I knew they were right. And they brought peace, and that brought great joy. And it's where I am today. It's brought me to where I am, the person who I am today. So I know they're right. And I continue to live my life in the way that gives me peace. And when I have that peace, I know it's God's will. And you know what? What I've also found is the times that I push the envelope and, maybe, apply for a job that's maybe not right for me, it tends not to work out anyhow. And I know that. And that gives me peace as well. So, God is so good. We know. I don't know. I don't know what more I can say with that. I feel such peace in sharing this message with you. But I'm talking too much. I know that right now. And so I'm going to stop there and say, thank you for joining me. May God bless you abundantly. And we'll talk more tomorrow. Peace be with you.